3.0 is coming out in 10 days. I am not prepared. I'm nowhere near prepared, but I will be, and this is how I will be prepared. First, when 3.0 was announced, I had a whole annoyance session about how Kapp'n's new resort looks on our islands, and I think making a little vent video managed to mostly work that out from my nerves. But I had decided to reset Mushroom because it didn't fit the vibes of how the new resort looks. I worked on grinding palm frond for a while to have an entire island be tropical resort themed to match Kapp'n's hotel. That really overwhelmed me though. I'm trying to make more and more builds and see more dream addresses that are outside of what I like to make, which is severely overgrown forested towns and islands. But I put a lot of pressure on myself to have a new island with a brand new theme and builds I'm not used to making done by 3.0, and it just made the game not fun for me. So I reset again to make Milkweed, my current island. Milkweed is still different from my normal build preferences, but it's close enough that it's mostly easy for me to envision what I want. I'm probably halfway through with it right now. So now that I have a fresh island, here's what else I'm doing to prepare for 3.0. First is obvious in that I work to hit 3 stars. Getting a 3-star island is the end of the main tutorial period and unlocks terraforming and pathing abilities, both of which I heavily need for my vision of this island. For a very quick summary of how to get 3 stars, you have to go through the intro and name your island, have at least 8 villagers, which means having the campsite built, and enough furniture and natural items as decor, and buildings placed to reach an internal point threshold. There are a bunch of guides out there to help, but a lot of people swear by the method of placing as many mannequins as you can around your island, then once you hit 3 stars, delete that pattern that you placed so that the mannequins will disappear as well. I just spam place furniture I'm going to place anyway. Reaching 3 stars will just happen naturally as you play the game, so there's no pressure other than any you place on yourself. Besides hitting 3 stars, I went ahead and collected all of my Dreamies, which are the top villagers you want on that island. I have about 50 favorite villagers, but actually my Dreamies for this island were nowhere near what I expected to end up being, so that was really fun. But then I panicked over remembering that Minoru, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she will be added as a new villager. She's one of the new Zelda villagers. And if Nintendo doesn't increase our villager cap in 3.0 the way Animal Crossing fan brain says that they will, even though I know rational brain says that they won't, I'll have to kick out one of my villagers for her. So then I had a whole crisis because I think it'll be Broccolo, even though he's my perfect baby boy who's never done anything wrong in his entire life. I'm so sorry, Broccolo. You don't fit the vision for this island if it comes down to you and Minoru. I'm sorry you don't. I'm sorry. I love you. Then I started visiting basically 10,000 other islands for catalog parties to fill up my item catalog. With Slumber Islands coming and being able to decorate the resort, I want my catalog to be as complete as possible. Related, I then began working on unlocking Harv's Island to get Reese and Cyrus available for my catalog build out. You can visit them to have Cyrus recolor your bot and DIY items so you can collect each version of each item by doing this. I haven't started Happy Home Paradise yet on this island, but will this week so I can unlock those items as well, but technically that's a separate game and extra money spent in real life. And speaking of money, I'm almost finished with my storage upgrades. 3.0 will bring us 2 additional storage upgrades, which I actually don't think I'll need for this island, but I'm preparing just in case. First, you have to finish your house upgrades. So to move from a tent to a house, you'll first need to give Tom Nook 5,000 Nook miles, and after that, you'll switch to paying for upgrades in bells. The first upgrade is 98,000 bells, then 198,000, 348,000, 548,000, 758,000, 1,248,000, then 2,498,000 for the last house upgrade, making a complete house cost 5,696,000 bells. And it's still easier to do that than to buy a house in real life. That's fun. There are a bunch of guides out there to make bells fast. I just sell stacks of pearls whenever I need bells. After you finish your house upgrades, you can start upgrading your storage. I'm in the middle of that right now. You'll need that maxed out to buy the new storage upgrades. The first is 500,000 bells, then 700,000, then 900,000, then 1,200,000, totaling at 3,300,000 bells. So to begin buying the new storage upgrades, you need to have sunk 8,996,000 bells into your house. So get your bells up. Next on my stylist is completing my museum. I've convinced myself that Nintendo will be adding Celeste to the museum in 3.0, but only if we have a complete museum, because that right side in the upper part of the museum is still empty and it still looks weird. So Animal Crossing fan brain is telling me she's coming in 3.0, but only if we have a complete museum. So I'm finishing my museum exhibits to be ready just in case, and if Nintendo doesn't add her, then I'll just have a complete museum earlier than planned, so no harm done, except Nintendo, please add her. We all miss her. Please give us Celeste's observatory in 3.0. Once I finish upgrading my storage, I'll be collecting as many materials as I can hoard. Kapp'n's new trade missions require DIY items, so I want to have a ton of mats ready for any DIY so I can farm those requests and get resort tickets that I can exchange for the million new cool items. And on top of needing resort tickets when 3.0 comes out, there are a bunch of new Nook Mile options. So I'm also very lightly farming Nook Miles. They just collect as you play the game, so I'm not heavily focusing on them because it's just so easy to collect them, especially early in the game when any unfocused gameplay can get you thousands in a day like I've been doing. I also keep going back and forth on putting in a time off request at work for the release. I really don't want to use my vacation time for a video game. I'm sorry. Nintendo, why on earth are you releasing this on a Thursday instead of a Friday? Except now that I think about it, it might be releasing on a Friday in Japan, and it just might be Thursday for me because of time zones. But still, I don't know, I keep going back and forth. I don't know if I want to take the time off of work for it, but also I really want to. I have to think about that. I'm going on as many Kapp'n Island trips as I can right now, partially for mat gathering, but also some part of my brain is thinking that we need to have gone on at least one of his trips to unlock the hotel. We already know we can't just unlock the hotel on day 1 in 3.0, but more in 3.0 might be unlocked behind needing to have gone on more of his island trips. I don't know what, but if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, and this helps me farm materials that I need anyway. Milkweed is currently at 4 stars, and I'm working toward 5. A part of my brain is thinking that we need to have 5 stars for something from this update. Who knows what, but a big release this many years after requiring us to get 3 stars, it just makes sense to have us have some kind of progression at this point. I'm also working on collecting all of the patterns from Sable in the Able Sister shop. What if she has more available after the update? I don't know. Nintendo's really good at not telling us everything that goes into an update, and I haven't seen them hype this up very much like I had expected them to, but why did I expect them to? So my Rational and Animal Crossing fan brains are fighting with each other 24/7 about how to prepare, but thankfully all of this is just playing the game anyway, so it's not like I'm putting any real effort in other than just dedicating time to play a lot before 3.0. I've seen some people online say they're preparing by clearing their beaches now. I'm letting my beaches just be overrun with flowers, and they will remain that way. I want to give Resetti something, you know those automatic floor vacuum, what's the Roomba? Okay, Resetti is a Roomba. Okay, I want to give Resetti something to eat since he can clean the beaches for us in the update, like kind of how he does his current cleaning service, except now instead of putting in Lost and Found, it'll go into our inventory, which I'm kind of neutral on, but I'm glad to see him back. I'm leaving some unbuilt areas in my island in case new buildings are added in this update. I think that's hardcore Animal Crossing fan brain cope mode, but rationally, I do think Resetti will only walk around like he did in the announcement trailer once, and then once we talk to him, he'll disappear somewhere. So maybe he'll be at Harv's Island, maybe that'll be expanded, maybe he'll go back to only being an app, which would be a massive disappointment. Maybe he'll bring back his surveillance center, which I would love, but if he does bring his surveillance center back, or if, Leaf and Kix are given permanent shops, or the Nook shop or Able Sisters are given upgrades, which I desperately hope for, I want space for new buildings just in case, so I'm leaving some empty room on my island just in case for that. I think those are all the ways I'm preparing for 3.0, but also think that I'm forgetting something obvious, so let me know how you are preparing.